Welcome back to Sanjog's Bibliophilia. I am Sanjog, and today I am going to review the book The Great Glass Elevator, which is the sequel to Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. As you know, I have reviewed that book the last week to be exact, and today I am going to review its sequel as I promised. I hope you like the review, and I hope you like the earlier review too. Now, without dilly-dallying, I would like to begin. But I have noticed that 81.4% of you aren't even subscribed. Guys, please like, share and subscribe. It really helps out a ton and motivates me to make even better video for you all. And without further ado, let's begin. This book starts with a beloved Charlie, his parents, his grandparents, Mr. Willy Wonka being in the great glass elevator which was going to the top of the world, literally at very high speeds. You see, they had to go very high up so they could generate enough force to blast a hole right to the top of the factory. But Charlie's grandmother didn't believe him and suddenly caught hold of Mr. Willy Wonka. Mr. Willy Wonka quickly urged Charlie to press the button. However, it was too late. They were already in outer space and were now busy orbiting the Earth. However, not everything was bad, of course. They saw the Space Hotel USA, the first hotel to be located in space. Mind you, I said located since it was not actually built in space. It was actually built on Earth and then it flew up to space. Now, of course, there's always a chance that it might blow up. So they sent nobody on it. It was completely empty. And now there was another spaceship heading towards them, which had all of the passengers, to be exact, the hotel staff who take care of the people who were going to come to the hotel soon enough. You see, many people had paid a lot of money just so they could stay at least one night in this magnificent hotel. And now this hotel staff were going to serve them, while they were also having three of the best astronauts in the world leading them. Now, both of the two parties saw each other, but Mr. Willy Wonka didn't care about them. He wanted all of them to be the first people to enter the Space Hotel USA while it was in space. However, the people in the spaceship thought that Mr. Willy Wonka and everyone in the great glass elevator were actually enemies of the nation and were going to blow up the Space Hotel USA. Of course, the president had to get involved. Everyone from the White House was thinking on brainstorming ideas what to do. And the president even used a hotline number which would help him to get in contact immediately with most of the world leaders. It turned out none of them were actually doing this. It was someone else. And while they were discussing who it was, Mr. Willy Wonka and everyone climbed upon the Space Hotel USA. They were thinking that they were going to have a magnificent feast. But suddenly a voice boomed from the speakers saying that they should go back to where they belong and they should first say who they were, or else the temperature would drop to minus 300 degrees Celsius, which instantly turned them into human popsicles. Now, what were they going to do? They were all very scared, but Mr. Willy Wonka had a brainstorming idea and he suddenly started screaming gibberish. Everyone was clueless about what was happening, but it did include two words, Mars and Venus, which made everyone in the White House believe that they were actually people from Mars and Venus, since they were so powerful they didn't even need space suits in space, and all they needed was a glass capsule, which, as you remember, was the great glass elevator. When everyone was discussing about it on the spaceship by using boards, they suddenly saw a weird creature. It was like an upside down egg, and suddenly more of its type came and squeezing around and formed the letter scram. Suddenly, Mr. Willy Wonka ran like his life depended on it and dragged everyone. Who were those creatures? To see that, you have to stay tuned till the end of the video. They all were running behind Mr. Willy Wonka and following his lead. You see, Mr. Willy Wonka didn't tell them what those creatures were, but he told them that we were pretty scared of them. So they quickly ran as if their lives depended on it. And it actually did, you see. And they quickly entered the great glass elevator and detached it Space Hotel USA. Now Mr. Willy Wonka calmly explained things to them. You see, those were vermicious nids which came from planet Vermes, which was very, very far away, and they would destroy any life on any planet they would find. This included Mars, Venus, and Moon. Every creature that once existed there was completely destroyed by the vermicious nets. So the others asked Mr. Willy Wonka, why did they not try to enter Earth? He told them that of course they tried to, but you see they were just masses of muscle and they had a steel wire inside of them. That's the exact net was. Now, whenever they tried to enter Earth, it would completely burn up and would form, guess what? Shooting stars. Nobody believed Mr. Willy Wonka, of course, but he told them if they were lucky, they would get to see a few of them at the end of their adventure. Now, he was also thinking what would happen to the poor souls who were going to the Space Shuttle USA, completely clueless about what was awaiting them. Now, everybody calmly went. However, many of them died from the first attack of the vermicious nets. And there was also a very big vermicious net which completely banged on the grade class elevator's window. However, thankfully, the grade class elevator was net proof, so he could do nothing about it, and his bottom was starting to become blue and black. And you see, they were orbiting the Earth very, very fast. So of course they managed to outrun the vermicious net. But sadly for them, the Earth is round. So they again came back to where they started. Can you believe it? They were all very, very scared and terrified. But now they had a great idea. Now they could just use a steel rope to tow all of the survivors from the Space Shuttle USA who had climbed back into the spaceship. You see, they could not do it on their own since the thrusters were destroyed. But of course, they could tow them easily. Now, he towed them for using a steel, very, very strong steel rope, may I remind you, which would even burn with the friction of the atmosphere, and they quickly plummeted down to the Earth. Thankfully now, they were safe, but that's what they thought, of course. Suddenly, many, many nets combined together to form a very big net. Now it had wound itself around the grade class elevator and was going to completely destroy it. But they were too late, of course. They suddenly entered the atmosphere. Now many of the vermicious nets tried to separate themselves, but of course they couldn't. And now Mr. Willy Wonka, Charlie and his whole family witnessed a great shower of shooting stars. Now they of course believed Mr. Willy Wonka. Now they were heading very fast and they decided to drop the people from the spaceship anywhere they wanted. Now, Grandma, Georgina and Josephine had a question. What if they landed in the Pacific Ocean? Mr. Willy Wonka said, you can swim, right? Now they were all very, very scared, even more scared when they were with the Nids. Thankfully, they managed to land right at the factory and drop the people from the spaceship right anywhere they wanted. Now there was a new adventure beginning. What was it? To see that, stay tuned till the end. You might be asking, what was his new adventure exactly? You see, Mr. Willy Wonka told them that the old people would have to help in the managing of the chocolate factory. Of course, he didn't want to even get out of bed and had to brainstorm many ideas. He suddenly thought, why not give him a Wonka White? It was a miraculous pill which could turn anyone 20 years younger. Can you even believe it that such a thing exists? Of course, only Mr. Willy Wonka can have it. Now, they were arguing who to give, and Mr. Willy Wonka warned them that they should listen to him. However, the three old people, excluding Grandpa Joe, were very, very greedy and decided to take 4 pills each. But they forgot. They were already near 80 years, and when the 2 people turned into a baby, Grandpa Joe was still an old person since he hadn't tried the pill yet, and Grandma Georgina, well, she was 78 years old. 78 years right that moment. And guess what had happened to her? She turned into a -2. Can you believe such a thing exists? Of course. Now nobody believed it, but But Mr. Wonka revealed that there were many test subjects for this Wonka White, and all of them had turned to minuses. Everyone was now very distressed. What could they do to help Grandma Georgina? Now Mr. Willy Wonka offered Charlie two options. He could either wait 2 years just so Grandma Georgina would come back. The second option, they could go to Minus Land. Guess what Charlie did? Of course he picked go to Minus Land. Now they again boarded the great glass elevator and left the two other babies in Mr. Bucket, Mrs. Bucket and Grandpa Joe's care, and the duo went down. There they saw many miraculous levels which had everything from queer, weird, normal. You can't even imagine what was even there. Now, when Mr. Wonka was explaining the things he had seen along with the four other naughty children, if you remember them, of course, was just the tip of the iceberg, and it would take them 3 weeks to even explore the whole thing. It was that big. See? Now, when he was explaining this, he cut off and told Charlie that they should be quiet since they had approached Minus Land. There they saw everything was very cloudy, fog was there, and Mr. Wonka revealed that there were queer creatures which existed there, which couldn't be seen. But if they managed to bite you, you were gone. You first subtracted, then you divided, and then you turned into one of them. Charlie was very scared, of course. Everyone would be in that situation, and he told Mr. Wonka, why not close the doors? But Mr. Wonka revealed that they wouldn't be able to see anything. There, they saw Grandma Georgina's body, which was floating, lying down in a subtraction sack. Of course, you know what it looks like. Suddenly, started puffing a gas, which was actually the Vita Wonk, which would turn anyone older. He had given her 3 pumps. Now everyone was scared. How old had he turned her? But when they went upstairs, can you even think what was the age? 358 years old. Can you imagine being that old and still surviving? It was a nightmare from Grandma Georgina. She was very scared of Mr. Wonka now. But honestly, it was not Mr. Wonka's fault. It was actually just hers. But she refused to admit it. Now, they had a lot of difficulty finding out the exact age. But they found it out soon enough. And Mr. Wonka gave her 14 pills of Wonka White, which turned her back to original age, 78 years old. Now when they were talking amongst themselves, suddenly an invite came from the White House, just inviting them so that they could have gold medals of glory for saving all of the hotel staff and the astronauts. Now of course they agreed, since now they were invited as humans, not aliens. And they went. However, Mr. Wonka told them one thing. He told Charlie, Mr. Bucket, Mrs. Bucket, and last but not the least, Grandpa Joe, to act as if they were going to leave the old people behind, since they couldn't take a bed in a helicopter. Seeing this, the old people jumped in a flash of lightning, and he quickly started to work. Well, Mr. Wonka's plan worked, but they had to waste quite a few Wonka Whites. It was very bad actually. Now, suddenly, I had a distressing idea. They didn't have proper clothes. How could they have medals of glory wearing them in nightgowns? But Charlie came to save the day again, and he told them they could just tell the helicopter to land in a prestigious fashion store, and there they could easily get all of the clothes they wanted. It was a great idea, and they all set off. Now, this is where the book ends. Guys, I would like to thank you so much for watching till the end. And before ending, I would like to ask you to please like, subscribe, share, and if you like this video, please provide a constructive criticism in the comments. So, goodbye.